Recording cost of goods sold under the periodic method actually is the easiest thing in the world once you've developed the entirety of our purchases, purchase returns, freight, and discount accounts. Because remember, to record cost of goods sold in a periodic system, we only do it once. We do it at the end of the period. So we're at December 31st, and we want to record cost of goods sold for December 31st. I start this entry really with these four accounts. I'm going to debit my contra accounts because they have credit balances. They're contra assets. So they have the opposite balance of assets. They have credit balances. To get rid of them, because that's what I'm doing, is I'm setting them to zero. To get rid of them, I'm closing them with a debit, purchase returns, purchase discounts, debit purchase returns by 76, debit discounts by 1152. Now to close purchases and freight, these are adjunct asset accounts. They have debit balances. So to get those to zero, I need to credit them. I'm going to credit purchases and I'm going to credit freight. So now you have that laid out in the middle. The only two things you have really left to figure out are ending inventory and cost of goods sold. So I'm going to present we're doing periodic. So the first thing we do is what is my ending inventory units, right? We need to establish a value for those. Well, the problem told me I had 65 units on hand when I performed my ending inventory count. So I need to assign a cost to 65 units under FIFO. Now, I'm not doing cost of goods sold anymore. I'm thinking about what's left after I've sold. So if I was doing a cost of goods sold under FIFO, I would start up here because these are my oldest purchases. But if I'm assigning all my oldest purchases as sales, what will FIFO leave as ending inventory? It'll leave the stuff that's most recently purchased as the ending inventory. So I'm going to take all 30 of those 30 units at $12.30 each. And then I need 35 more. Do I have 35 up here? I do. I had 40. I returned 4. There was 36 there. So I still do have 35 available here. And that's going to be at 1330 each. So this represents my ending inventory if I used a FIFO method. It's $834.50. This is what my ending inventory balance should be. My ending inventory dollar value under FIFO. Okay. So what adjustment do I need to make to the inventory account? You can do it two ways. You can do it what I think is a simpler way, or you could do it the sort of foolproof way. Okay. So in either case, either way, I start off with a beginning inventory of 40 units at $11. So that's 440 in either situation. Well, I just developed exactly what I want my ending inventory balance to be. Now remember, we're under the periodic method, so there were no entries to the inventory account during the period. That's perpetual. Our periodic method put all those entries into these accounts. So the 834.50 is the amount I want to end up with. In order to get to that amount, I would have to debit inventory by $394.50. This is my adjustment, very much like the bad debt expense adjustment for accounts receivable, right? I get a balance, I find the adjusting amount. I would need to debit inventory by $394.50 to get it up there. Now, what's the alternate way? The alternate way is to foolproof is to credit everything I had as beginning inventory because I'm really just going for 834.50. And if I credit that, my account's zero, and I have to reestablish a balance of 834.50. So these are not real transactions, obviously, right? This is just making our ending inventory value happen with what we started with. And there were no purchase entries into inventory because we're using periodic and they all went into those four accounts. So we credit, we debit, we get there. This debit and credit in net is just $394.50. So instead of what you would do if you use this method, you would credit inventory 440, debit inventory 834.50, right? It'll still come out to a net debit of 394.50. So this is an either or, whichever one you're more comfortable with, go with it, use that. Don't switch back and forth. You'll screw yourself up. Choose one and love it. Okay. Only one more thing left here, cost of goods sold. And we could do it two ways. We could just say, look, we have a total number of credits here, and I need a debit and cost of goods sold so that my debits equal my credits. Well, if you screwed anything up over here, in any of these amounts, it will screw up your cost of goods sold. A great way to check it again is to go back to the idea that GAFs equals cost of goods sold plus ending inventory. Remember, now we don't even have to worry about shrinkage because we're doing periodic. 176, 1765.18 minus my cost of goods. I'm sorry, my ending inventory that I'm reporting, 834.50 gives me $930.68 of cost of goods sold. That is the way we would report cost of goods sold under a periodic method and using FIFO. So really this becomes a lot more simple because I can lay out these four accounts once I know the totals of those. Then it's just a process of me establishing my ending inventory with the cost flow method, putting the prices in for that cost flow method, and then figuring out what the adjustment to my inventory account has to be in order to get to 834.50.